Welcome to this webinar. I'm looking forward to kind of sharing some of the latest, greatest things that have happened. Liz is going to kind of manage the mutes for us. And we do have some new practitioners here with us that are going to hopefully share. I'm going to introduce them. We have a few things kind of on the menu today for this webinar. The first is everyone already familiar with Cognomovement? Is anybody unfamiliar with what it is or how it works? If they could just speak up or let us know, wave your hand, anything. Anybody? Everybody's okay on it? Okay. So one of the things that I want to do with you today is kind of get you up to speed on some of the new techniques to speed things up for you. Okay, so that'll be the first order of business is how to take this thing from 15 minutes down to 5 minutes or even less. And so the thing that we discovered is that and I credit Liz with this one, is I should have figured it out before, is that in neurolinguistic programming, we know that different positions of your eyes have something to do with a connection with a particular part of your brain. If you look down, you can feel emotions. If you look up, you have visual creation or visual remembering. And then you have auditory and kinesthetic. So one of the ways, and there's a few ways that we've sped things up, is that you start doing Cognomovement where it is low. When you do Cognomovement, you start down low, and you still are doing it like orange, purple, blue, green, and then you're still focused on the issue, but you start moving up the body. So then green, red, purple, brown, not brown, but yellow, orange, blue, purple, green. So you go from low to high. And when you do this, you are stimulating different parts of your brain. And what happens is that the process, it goes way faster, right? So that's the first thing I wanted to show you is to do it where you're going from low to high. The other thing I wanted to show you, and this was, I credit another practitioner discovered this one. And that is that right now I had people bouncing it off the wall, right, to create the randomness. But we discovered that it actually works just as well if you have it in your hands and just spin it. You say the color green, spin, and then you orange, spin, purple, and so all you have to do is just create that randomness, and you can do it by spinning as long as you have two hands and you're going across the center line of the body. Okay. The other, everybody already knows that in between sessions you make a figure 8, and so you do the figure 8. You do a session, right, and then you do the figure 8 imagine it on the ground. Right? When you stop after doing the figure 8, face a different position. So for example, I was facing this way. Now I'm going to do the exercise and I'll face this way. When you do, you can take the ball and you keep your head forward and you do a infinity symbol or a figure 8. And you do a figure 8 to left to right, you do a figure 8 up to down, and you do one over in the periphery and over on the periphery. So that's basically how we're able to get the time down from 15 minutes to like 5 minutes. So you do a quick session. Again, I'll review it for you. Quick session is, yellow, green, blue, red, and you're going back and forth, focused on the issue, just the same, higher and higher. Then you do the figure 8 on the floor, and you do the infinities. You keep your head static and just follow the ball. So those are kind of some of the new updates that have made things go faster and faster.
Hey, Bill, I just want to point out for everybody, what Bill's demonstrating is a solo session, and you can do exactly the same thing if you're doing it with a partner as well. That use low to high, I, X, S, and Qs, and then you would use the figure 8 for your partner as well. So those tips work for partners or solo.
So yeah, you obviously you can do it. You can do it in both ways. So that technique, it's still 90% of your attention is on the issue, and 10% of it is on saying the color that you see. And it's really as simple as that. Having said that, we are kind of an update for you on applicability of it. We're finding tremendous application in athletics. We already knew about emotional things, the stress of emotional issues, and whether it's grief, guilt, resentment, blame, whatever it might be, it quickly processes with this. We have a number of schools now that are utilizing it, and it's de-stressing the students, as well as creating a lot more focus for them. The craving thing we also knew about already, and that's working the same except faster. And those are kind of the main categories. There's one other category that is worth mentioning, and it is a desensitization. So we already know that it desensitizes for emotional issues, right? But we figured out that, and we haven't done clinical trials yet, so this is an experimental stage. But children that have sensory processing disorder, where they can't be touched, children on the spectrum, that it desensitizes them physically so that they can take a shower or walk on the grass or be touched. So this is kind of a big deal. I probably should have figured it out earlier after the first issue that the first guy told me about his tooth hurting, and it worked on his desensitizing his tooth that didn't have an enamel anymore. But that's a major category. If anybody knows a child that is overly sensitive on something physical, this is a possible solution. And last, and this was edited out of the Gaia episode that many people saw, because we can't really talk about any named disease. We're trying to get some clinical trials going for neuropathy. And the way it works is you focus on the neuropathy and then you do the actual exercise. So, and amazingly, the feeling starts coming back. Statistically on that one, most of the time it comes back in about 3 days with most of the people. Some of the people it goes away completely. But we're looking for help on any clinical trials for neuropathy. that's kind of a broad brush here. Obviously, you guys are probably hearing things and want to ask questions. So I'm going to kind of take a break for a minute and answer any questions about that stuff before I move on to kind of the next segment.
So I'm going to try to, I'm unmuting everybody. Hold on just a second. So Patrick, Kimberly, Jalith, anybody have a question? Elizabeth, you're unmuted. Carmela, you're wait, nope, not yet. You're unmuted. Anybody have a question? And
Patrick has his hands raised, I think.
Oh, I think you're right. Patrick.
Hi guys. I've been really enjoying using the Cognomovement ball with my family, and one of the things I was wondering was how we can keep going, moving up the consciousness scale after we've kind of worked with it for a while and we can't seem to find anything else negative that needs work on.
That's what we're here to talk about tonight, aren't we, Bill?
Awesome. Yeah.
Nice,
you know what?
segue. Nice segue.
You read our minds. That's actually what this webinar is about. And we found, I'll just give a little teaser before I go into full go, because I'm going to really get into it in a minute here. But the going up the levels of consciousness, starting at the very bottom, is kind of what we're doing in this new Cogno Conscious seminar series that we're doing, is to process kind of all of the shame and humiliation or grief and guilt of a lifetime. And in that way, being absent those things enables a person to just automatically raise up their level of consciousness. We experienced that with kind of automatically with some of the practitioners. We had a 3-day seminar, and they, without trying, the level of consciousness increased. So we've done specific exercises, as test marketing, and we're finding that people are jumping about 100 points on average on the levels of consciousness, which is really big. It is a major move, real life changing.
So I know you're going to go into it in a minute, Bill, but I just want to give like a tiny teaser. What we found we are actually doing is turning stagnant energy into ecstatic energy. How cool is that?
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Okay. Patrick, tell me, you're working with your kids and your family on it. Tell me, what are you utilizing it for?
Well, my son is dealing with autism. Both my daughters are dealing with anxiety. And they all three find that when we go in the garage and we toss the ball back and forth, and I use the format for the videos, reminding them to keep thinking about the things, anything that's been bothering them, really, is to just focus on that while we're playing. And we toss the ball back and forth, and they start getting smiling and giggling, and that issue doesn't come up again, so it doesn't bother them anymore. And so my daughters have seen a reduction in anxiety, and my son's autism has been continuously improving the last 3 months as I've been getting him to play with it.
How old is he?
13.
Awesome. Awesome, Patrick. This is great. So before you get off the phone here, I don't want to let you go, because I want to, there's a major center that we're meeting with tomorrow in San Diego that is, it's the largest center for autistics. And we're basically, going to make a donation to them to help the kids there. So I would love to, your real life experience is just total, it's very valuable. So your kids, and when you're focused on this, one of the things I I should point out that the last thing I forgot to tell is that we're now in schools as well, and we figured out a method of doing it in groups, and all simultaneously in a circle. And as you go up, I think what you're going to notice, which is really cool, we notice that as they go up, the levels in the body, and they're doing it, everybody starts smiling in the group, and there's like giggling and smiling, because it's hitting the other parts of their brain that things become congruent, if you will. So that's what I like about this, is that you're seeing progress over a period of time with your son. And
Yeah, I've had the ball for about a year now, and I'm not always able to get him to do much other than just kind of spin it in his hands and play with it. But I have noticed over the year, I've been keeping track in a journal, and that his autism symptoms, I could send you a PDF or a list of where I've seen significant improvement. And he's not on any medication because we found that it doesn't really work. We've tried like 5 or 6 different times, and they just really make him less flighty, but otherwise they don't really improve anything. Whereas the symptoms of not being able to focus, not being stuck in a negative state of mind for a long period of time, those have all dramatically reduced, and he's generally a happier guy.
Patrick, where are you located in the country?
Fairfield, Iowa at the moment.
Oh, you're in Iowa. Okay.
wonderful.
Yeah, it's rather ironic. We moved out of California, and shortly after, I discovered the Cognomovement stuff.
So my email address is, maybe you could put it in the chat room,
Yeah.
but it's billmckennaevents@gmail.com, and that will get to me. I would love to have a PDF because I'm talking to the president of this major organization tomorrow, actually, at 4 o'clock my time. So that would be really valuable. Any video testimonials is just also awesome as well. And the children, one of the things that we discovered through the BioWell is that this device actually tests the stress level. I think everybody already knows about this, the BioWell already, and it measures all of your energy centers and your energy field. This device actually shows the level of stress. Stress shows up as this resistance in the body, and they know exactly every meridian everywhere that it's in. But my point is that kids that are on the spectrum, not a lot of people realize this, but they are at the very highest levels of stress. And when you look at measuring it, they bump right up to the very edge of it. So it's very difficult. One of the things I've had a theory on, and correct me if I'm wrong, Patrick, but my theory has been that before Cognomovement, it is Johnny, no, stop it, Johnny, and there's a lot of tension with the stop it's, and there's repetitive problems. And with the Cognomovement is that not only is it a tool to you don't have to do, you can utilize the problem as an opportunity to process the issue. And then the other thing is a non-reoccurring issue. So am I correct in that, or how are things at your place there?
One way to look at it for my son is that he's almost, I'm forgetting the term, he has had historically a large amount of difficulty differentiating between reality and his imagination. And what we found over the last year, as I've been getting to work with the ball, is that he still plays with his imaginary friends and talks about imaginary things quite a bit, but there's become more of a differentiation. It's more like somebody who's making up a story they're going to make into a movie rather than he's in that movie.
A separation.
He's and also things bother him less. Is you were mentioning about the hypersensitivity with stress, is that's gone down as well. Is unless he's sick, in which case things are worse. But on a general day-to-day basis, sounds bother him less. He likes being touched, whereas at one point in time he didn't like being touched at all. And he's able to eat more. He used to, about a year ago, he was only eating foods that were sort of dismantled. Like you'd be a salad that's been taken apart into the individual pieces on the plate. He was like that. He would only eat things like that in every way. Like you could have the macaroni and cheese. You have to have plain macaroni and a small bowl of cheese, and then whatever the vegetables were, and with no seasoning, no sauce. And now he's eating combined foods with seasoning and asking for seasoning to be added to foods or asking for sauce.
Okay, that's great. That is great. That is awesome. Well, Patrick, I'd love to get your email address if you could.
We got it, Bill.
Yeah, we got it. Okay,
we
we're
got
cool.
It.
All right, that is just awesome. You were what I was hoping for. Somebody would catch on.
Bill, Carmela has a question. She wanted to know, I know I haven't, and I don't know if anyone else of our practitioners have, but has anybody worked with anyone with Crohn's disease?
I have not myself worked with anybody with Crohn's. I don't know if any of the other practitioners have yet.
Annette or Shay, have you worked with anybody with Crohn's? No?
So here's what I would say is having dealt with people with Crohn's in the past and knowing them, they had severe traumas and stress. So here's what I would do is a concert. What I seen in the past on Crohn's is there was a concert of extremely stressful things that happened. The death of a parent, the death of a brother, combined with an auto accident. You know, it's like three things happen, and the stress is just off the charts with them, and they can't process it. So what I would say is what Cognomovement is really good at is to process the stress. I would go back to the stressful events and process those events. I would work with them on their daily stress, but I'd also go back to those big events and I'd process those. Please let me know how it goes. And, you know, this is the type of thing, we have a seminar coming up in Massachusetts for 3 days. If they want to come in, they get we need people to work on. So they can come in for free. Anybody that needs help or has a friend that needs help at one of our seminars, please bring them in. We work on them for free, and we will really work them. You know, they you know, we pride ourselves on not letting people leave with problems. So there's many opportunities now. We have one in San Diego here at the 26th, 27th. I have one in Glendora, Los Angeles on November 2nd, 3rd. Another one in Massachusetts at near Boston, and that's coming up on the 15th, 16th, 17th. And that one is, so there's that one. And then we have a couple other tentative ones that might happen in December that we're working on.
Well, Carmela's saying that her daughter had a fall at 13, and she thinks that she may have had a concussion. Carmela, I'm going to unmute you for a second. Is that when she started having Crohn's?
Well, she started, yeah, shortly after that. She had a big trauma in the eye. One of the main muscle in the eye got swollen up so bad that was pushing the eyes forward. And so she went through the growth spurt. As she was going through the growth spurt, she had this major fall, which I didn't know how long she was out for because she was at work. And after that, all of that started, stomach pain and, you know, headaches and all of that. Yeah. So
I would go back to that event, you know, in time and how she was feeling and to process that.
Mm-hmm.
So in the seminars, we teach a lot of what I call the secrets of the masters, which are a variety of different techniques to kind of utilize for situations to help to deprogram, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the techniques, and I'm just going to teach this to the group right now. I love to, you know, share obviously some of the other videos. I don't know if you've watched. There's a new video that just came out today, and there's 2 secrets of the masters in it. And I encourage you that video just came out. I think everybody got emailed it, right, Liz?
Yes, everybody got it.
So there's a couple of secrets of the masters in that. But I'm going to teach you one right now that this is not related to Cognomovement, but it's a very simple technique that you have your 5 senses, you know, smell, touch, taste, you know, feeling, hearing, and then you have your feeling, right, in your body, you know, whatever emotion. So your emotion gets connected to some of these physical connections, right, to the external environment. With her, and everybody can try this right now. So I want you to, everybody on the call can just think of a situation that was been horrible for you, that, you know, you've thought about it many times in the past, and it's kind of, it stings, right? It's a bad memory of some kind. And I want you to just be there in that bad memory and put it on a scale of 1 to 10. And what you do now is, I want you to just notice who's in the room and what's going on. Okay, you've reviewed this many times in the past, but now you can taste an onion. Everything's going on and you can taste an onion. The room is now, or wherever you're at, everything is orange. Change everything to orange. And now you smell garlic. Smell the garlic. Everything's going on. Things are still happening. Now, anybody that's talking is now talking like Donald Duck, and also they're talking like Batman, if there's another person there. If there's other people in the room, they're talking like Tweety Bird. It's extremely warm now. It's so warm that you almost feel like your skin is you're sweating. You feel that heat. It's a hot wind. Wherever you're at, there's this hot wind. You're tasting the onion, smelling the garlic. Everybody's talking like that. If there's any sounds, other sounds, those sounds are now musical. They turned into Beethoven. If there's something other sounds. Okay, all right. Now, let go of all that. Think about the issue now. And how is the issue on a scale of 1 to 10 now? Does it feel the same as it did before we started?
Sorry. When I do release, I yawn a lot.
Good. Since you're unmuted, does the issue feel the exact same as when you started?
No, much lighter.
Okay. All right.
It was funny because I could see and I could hear the Donald Duck and the Tweety Bird, and so it was quite comical actually to me. It wasn't so heavy. I was taken out of it.
Yes. Yeah. So your life, your entire life is you have these senses, and if we disturb the senses, this is your interface to the outer world. We mix them up. It's hard to connect with your inner world now. Mm-hmm. So this event gets kind of just slightly altered, and in that you can't have that same level of emotion related to it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm sure we have many other people on the phone too that I'm sure that as we go through, maybe we can talk to some people as we go.
Bill, we have a couple more questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Brandy asked she'd like to work with her 8-year-old son. He has sensory issues in his mouth after having a surgery when he was an infant. So that was Brandy wants to know that, and I also want to let you know we're at 5:39. So just letting you know where we're at.
Brandy, how old? Maybe you can unmute. How old is your son? I think you said son.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh! 1 moment.
Hi.
Hey, am I there?
You're
yeah.
There.
Hi, Brandy.
Okay. Well, now I have children fighting because they're trying to get out of the bathtub. Okay, he's 8.
He's 8 years old.
He's 8 years old. He had his tongue clipped when he was 2 weeks, and I've certified in EMDR, and so I know that trauma from the tongue clip has kind of transferred into his eating habits and sensory issues with his mouth.
Okay. All right.
If that makes sense. And so I'm trying to think of how to work this in, because he really likes the ball as far as just minor upsets and stuff.
Okay. Have you tried this where I want you to feel how horrible the mouth feels and those, how sensitive it is, and just have him completely feel that sensitivity, and then do Cognomovement, the new method, because it's very, very fast. Did he, have you tried that yet?
No, we haven't. I've just been trying to figure out how to even get him to think about it, because he's very picky eater, and it's making him overweight and then making him feel bad. And so he won't put anything in his mouth that he doesn't like, or if that makes sense. So I haven't tried that yet, but just to get him to think about maybe a food or something, because he's not making the connection with the mouth problem.
Okay.
With the surgery from when he was a baby. If that makes sense, Yeah.
Okay. So there is I wish he was here so we could work with him. This would be
He's right here.
He's right here. Okay. Now I don't know. At 8 years old, this is going to be, who knows, right?
Put his shirt on. Put his shirt
Okay.
on. Yeah, he's here. He's just.
Oh, okay.
He's gonna put a shirt on for me.
Okay. So this is a wonderful. There's multiple techniques that we can try, right? The first one, here's what I would write down on a list for you. Number one is to have him imagine that he's having to eat the icky foods. So that will help to desensitize it. But so make a list of all the foods he doesn't like, and then go through and do those.
Okay.
The next thing is have him to do Cognomovement, where he focuses just on his mouth alone. And then the third one is we'll actually do this online right now. And I don't know if it's even possible because of his age, you know, if we can really get there or not. But ask him, is how sensitive is your mouth, or on a scale of 1 to 10? Like sometimes with my daughter, what I do is I do my hands like this. This is 0 and this is 10. Where is it? You know, that's what I do. That.
Do you understand that, Devin? Yeah.
Okay.
He understands what you're saying. Yeah.
Okay. So this is 0 and this is 10. So do some sort of measurement like that. And I want to say at a 10, your mouth feels horrible. And at a 0, your mouth feels wonderful. It feels like so great. So where is it? Right here and right now.
Okay.
Where is it? Is it at a 0 or
is it a 10, a 5, or a 0?
Can it be at the middle?
Yeah, it can be in the middle.
Yeah, mine's in the middle.
Like
It's in the
maybe a
middle.
5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
He's not eating anything. I'm not trying to get him to put anything besides, you know.
Mommy.
okay, it's a 5. It's in the middle. Okay. Wonderful. Okay. So
You can sit.
So here's what I'm going to ask you to do as this is an experiment. This is, and the experiment is, it's really simple, but you have to do it 100% just for a couple minutes, okay? So I want you to put all of your attention on your mouth and where it's not perfect, it doesn't feel very good. And I want you to maybe take your finger and touch the part that just doesn't feel all that great, you know? And I want you to close your eyes and ask to see the person that you need to forgive. Who do I need to forgive? And see if you see a face. Do you see a face?
Do you see a face? Do you remember what forgive means? Who do you think of? Who do you think of when you touch the part of mouth that you've been touching the whole time we've been sitting here? Who do you think of?
Just
you, mommy. Yeah.
okay. So here's what I want you to do is completely forgive mommy. Mommy was always doing the best she could for you in every moment of your life, and she always loved you. Even when it didn't seem like it, even when you didn't feel good, but just forgive her completely. Just know that you can let go of all the bad feelings and completely let go of any feelings about mommy that are less than really happy. You just let it go. Close your eyes and let it go. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
He's letting it go. He's taking a deep breath. I have a 6-year-old
Okay.
that's bugging us.
Okay. All right, you're doing
But
great.
he's-
Take another
yeah,
deep
he's
breath
taking
and
a deep
just
breath.
let it all go. That, you know what? She was doing the best she could. Just let it go. Okay. And now, what is it now? What I want you to do is like take your finger out of your mouth and then now put this, you know, 1 to 10, right? It was in the middle. Now, how is it? Is it still in the middle or is it something different? Is it higher or lower or just in the middle?
Think about eating something.
Oh, you doing something I do?
Don't.
Oh,
Where's it at when you think about that?
I think it's still in the middle.
You think it's kind of still in the middle? Has it gone? But it didn't go up. So you still think it's in the middle? 10 the worst, 0. 5's the middle. Is it at a 4 or a 7? What do you think?
My mouth feels fine.
Your mouth feels fine. Okay. His mouth feels fine.
Okay, so it's at a 0?
Is it at a 0? Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
All right. You did really good. That's very brave of you. And very, very good. So you can see this technique on the previous. This is another one of the kind of the secrets of the masters. Wonderful, wonderful introduction to another master that his name's Serge Kahali King. That one came from him. So we'll shout out to him for that wonderful knowledge, and you can utilize that. Okay, we had some other questions.
Thank you from us.
Did you have another one, Brandy?
No, and so we use the ball as well. Just kind of thinking if issues came up with it, using the Cogno ball.
Absolutely. I would
Mm-hmm.
I would focus in on it, and I would focus in on the eating. And if he at 8 years old, they're at the age of catching. If they can't catch for some reason, the rolling side to side, is get on the floor and roll it to the left or right, or have them do it. Another practitioner, wonderful. You can do this for them. So instead, if they can't catch, just spin the ball and move it from left to right for them, and have them say the color. But do it as a low to high.
Hey, Bill, would you back away from the camera a little bit towards the middle of the room and show that again? I think that might help Patrick as well. He said he's got someone in his family that can't catch. A little bit farther, just a little bit farther.
Okay, all right. So here it is. So when you go and do this, what you do is you just spin the ball for them, and you move it to the other side. You spin it again, you move it to the other side. So you have them say the color as soon as they say it. Spin, move, spin, move, spin, move. Say the color, and just keep them focused. Focus on the issue, and so you're going to have to be fairly close to them because you're going to want them to really have that left-right movement. Okay. Okay. And the next question.
Looks like everybody's done with questions. We want to introduce our practitioners, and we also want to give everybody what we promised in what's happening in Cogno Conscious.
Oh, yes. Okay. Sorry. So why don't we do this? Because I want everybody, before anybody leaves, to meet our wonderful practitioners. So, and maybe they can just share a little bit about their experience and maybe some good stories of what they've what they've discovered and who they've worked with, that sort of thing. Because if you need somebody in your area, they're a wonderful way. They know a lot. They spent 3 intensive days really learning the fine details of what makes this work, and they're incredibly effective. So Annette, I think you're first up.
Yep, she's unmuted. Yep.
Hi, Bill. Thanks. Let's see. I'm just going to make it real quick. I know when I went to San Diego, so I'm from New Jersey, but when I went to San Diego, I keep on saying this. I went on the plane one person, and I definitely came back someone completely different, to such an extent that as soon as I got back home, I started incorporating the Cognomovement with almost everybody that would stand still long enough to listen to me and be willing to practice or be an active participant. With that being said, I have 3 short stories. So I work with somebody that had a food craving, which was sugar. She was able to bypass that. Her results that she informed me were, the first one was she felt lighter. A couple of days later, she called me back to let me know that she had gotten her menses after not having it for 9 months, which I thought was huge. And it was an interesting, I guess, a connection that she had made. I tried it with a kids yoga class, and the group was kindergarten through 2nd grade. It went from chaos, sort of chaos, to more of a controlled, I don't want to say controlled, more, I was able to do more with them because they were in more control of themselves. As far as athletic performance, I had somebody that was trying to use it to improve their accuracy shooting a target. And what they noticed was that they were able to relax their body enough to be able to accurately hit the target where they wanted to. And then another one is somebody that was not able to get into a yoga pose after an injury, being able to get into the yoga pose after a really short session of Cognomovement and go deeper than they were able to go into it before. So that's it.
Annette, was that person you?
Yes, which I'm still shocked and surprised, but yes, that was me.
We got to witness that. That was pretty amazing.
Yeah, so thank you, Bill. I mean, this stuff is just amazing.
Oh, you
Okay,
did
so
great.
that's all I'm
Great. So what town are you in New Jersey? What
So
town
I'm
are you
in
practicing
Princeton, New Jersey, so that's Central Jersey.
Okay, and she's on the website as a practitioner.
Absolutely,
So if you need somebody in Princeton, there we go. And Shay?
Oh, hold on just a second. Let me get Shay unmuted. There she is. Yep.
So
Hi.
Shay's out of Ashland, Oregon.
In Ashland. I don't know why my camera isn't working, actually. I don't know why that is, but otherwise I'd say hi. So I just had a really fun thing just this morning working on myself. I've worked on other people during the week. Maybe I should start with them. So one of these women, one of the things that, and I just was writing to Liz about this, is that I talk to people about the ball, even if I don't have the ability to have a session with them at the moment. You know, we're engaged in an activity, and so we make a plan to meet each other later. But some people get pretty excited about the idea, and so they're saying, how can I get this? How can I get the ball? Can I just go get the ball? And I was like, yeah, but it's helpful to get the training. And then they sort of look at me like, yeah, training for throwing a ball, I'm not so sure. So it made me wonder if maybe, Bill, you want to have a little more control over how this gets disseminated, because she's now the second person who's talked to me. She has, she's a blended marriage, with, you know, very new blended marriage. And so she has children, someone else's children effectively now living with her, and the relationships are not going as smoothly as she would like. So there's nothing, you know, some of them are seemingly over emotional, and it's difficult to know how to manage. And so we were talking about the ball, and she was saying that sounds exactly like what we need, you know, something that's not personal, that doesn't necessarily target their problem. You know, let's go in the corner and fix someone's problem. It sounds more like, let's just do this ball and we'll all calm down. So she loves the idea. And she just really wants to, she's so eager, she just wants to have it, which is fine. And then I worked with another woman who really made some big shifts. And as I was walking out the door, she said, so can I get this ball? Can I get the ball on Amazon or something? And I said, I think so, but I didn't want to say yes, because I think people are, well, it's up to you to make this decision, of course, Bill and Liz, but the idea is people are I mean, we spent 3 days working intensively on it and going in all sorts of specific areas. And to have people think that they can just sort of pick up a ball and throw it around and then get some result, I'm afraid it will dilute the power of what you're trying to communicate and convey with this, and the power of what we've experienced being more precise and more focused on it. So I just, since it's early days, I want to make sure that it's something that's thoroughly discussed, so that you have control over your own product in a way.
That's a, really good point. We didn't, this is a community project. Everybody's helping out. I mean, the practitioners are helping to evolve the process, and we're learning kind of as we go. But it is obviously, yes, you can get it on Amazon. All the practitioners are given balls, right, to sell directly. The challenge here is that how to make it effective. One of the big things here is that you'll kind of eventually get results if you follow the videos on the website. I started this off saying, we've taken this down from 15 minutes down to 5, but a lot of that has to do with these little subtleties. They seem like subtleties, but they're really big deal when the practitioners learn. So I think that the avenue forward, at least my vision of it at this time, is that via schools and via practitioners is probably one of the main paths of being able to disseminate this out there, where it would it's very effective, right? When somebody encounters one of the practitioners, or the sessions go very fast and very effective. So I think, I definitely think we're going to have to put some thought into it and figure it out.
So I just want to say, for everybody else who's maybe not as familiar with what Shay's talking about, on Cognomovement, there are instructional videos, but there's now a whole page. It's on Cognomovement.com. It's called See a Session. And there's more and more videos being added there that show how to do a craving session, how to do a session with athletes. Bill shows a craving session as well. So there's more and more of those being added all the time, so that people can have a resource to actually see in real time how some of the techniques. So in the meantime, for everybody, that's available.
Yeah, but I hear you, Shay.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to tighten things up. It really hasn't worked out all that well just selling to the general public. I'll tell you that. And and I have it in every country, and it's really not working out all that great as an avenue to sell. So we're gonna have to figure something else out.
I think it will be once we start teaching people. But the thing that concerns me is just that if we teach people and they think they've got it and they just run with it, then the thing that you intend for it to be just gets possibly diluted, so that it's no longer what you intended it to be, that people can use it to, you know, maybe get some results, but if they don't get the depth of results that they're looking for, then they may just say, well, the ball doesn't work.
Oh, that happens. I've seen that happen.
Yeah.
So there's some truth to that.
That once I work with somebody, they're all enthusiastic about it. They think it's miraculous and it's great. But I think also partly because I've been well trained. And when I see people saying, oh, I can do this myself, I'm sort of thinking, even myself, when I want to work on something important, I sort of think, I'd rather go to a practitioner for this. I don't feel like I can necessarily be on both sides of this experience every single time. Having said that, this morning, it really surprised me. I have preconceived ideas about how this should really work. And one of the preconceived ideas is that this takes time. So I was really taught the opposite this morning. I woke up, I had a story going on about my husband, and I was walking out the door and I thought, I just can't start my day with this story going on in my head. So there I am in the garage, bouncing the ball against the wall in the garage, and literally it must have taken, I don't know, 5 bounces. I mean, it was so fast. I stopped myself and I was like, I think it's gone. Oh my God. Now, I'm just so impressed because, I mean, clearly it's not a long-standing story. It's just something I, woke up with this morning and kind of got hooked into. But I'm not at all surprised that you're saying that there's a fast way to do this and that it's faster than we remember or that we think. The other question I had about that is that when you were teaching us about the low to high, you were talking at that time about changing the vocabulary or changing the verbiage that goes with each one. So the bottom was sort of the issue, the middle was kind of neutral, and then going high was a totally different set of words. So are you suggesting that the words change at the same time?
Oh, that is a particular, that one right there is actually an advanced one for practitioners. So we're not teaching that in the regular, so it's for practitioners because it requires a lot to understand that and how to get the appropriate verbiage.
Great. Okie dokie. Well, I live in Ashland, Oregon. I'm about 40 minutes from Liz and Leah. If anyone wants to come to Oregon, we're here.
She's incredibly gifted. She's not only an excellent Cognomovement practitioner, but a joy to meet and a gifted individual.
Back at
Worth the trip. Worth the trip.
And Shay, let me know if I can help you with the language thing. If you need some more help with that, let me know. I'm available.
Thank you.
Okay, Bill. Cogno conscious. We've waited all this time.
Okay, is there any more questions? Any from the crew? No? That's it? Okay. All right. So here it goes. Why don't we put up the levels of consciousness real quick? I can just tell you about this. So we're super excited about this because you don't have to, if you're not interested in becoming a certified practitioner, or if you are a practitioner and you just want to advance yourself, this is something that I think you might be interested. So one of the things that I teach about in the seminars is the levels of consciousness. So this is Dr. David Hawking's scale for his levels of consciousness. You have down here at the bottom, it's, shame, guilt, humiliation, grief and anger and that sort of thing. And then it goes up the scale. Everything below a level 200 is extracting your energy, and everything happens by force. At the very lowest levels, there is a lot of force that's necessary to get anything done. When you're at the level of shame and humiliation, it's hard to even get the motivation to get out of bed or leave the house. And but a little bit higher on the scale, there's cravings and anger, and in this area, there's a lot of hyperactivity. The mania around getting, a lot of times in materialism, is very prominent in this in these levels. The as you kind of go up the scale, we're into the trust and forgiveness and optimism area. There's a zone there that you become happy and productive, and a little bit farther up the chain where is an area of what they call understanding, or a genius level, which you get kind of peak performance. And when you get up to a level of the 500 and 540, which is love and unconditional love and joy and gratitude and these sorts of things, that synchronicities and extraordinary outcomes become commonplace. So this is an area that this top area is an area where life becomes kind of very interesting. What you hold in mind starts to happen. Now, in order to get there, one of the things that, if we think about you and me and everybody, is in order to get there, it's very, very hard, right? I've got people, let's say or situations that I'm afraid of. Maybe it's financial, maybe it's a survival issue. I've got people maybe that I'm angry at for darn good reason. With Cognomovement, Cogno Conscious, what we do is we go and through the scale, level by level, and clear out the grief, the guilt of a lifetime, the humiliation of a lifetime, the shame of a lifetime, the anger of your lifetime, the fear and anxiety of your lifetime. And as those things drop away, and they're no longer an issue. So all of these things below 200 here in the red zone, or I'm colorblind, so I don't know whatever, or red, orange.
Yeah, it's red.
But that area, life is a reaction, right? You're not really making choices, you're simply reacting, right? You didn't choose to be angry, you just are. You didn't choose to be afraid, you just are. You justify it all, but they are reactions. So, and reactions come out of our subconscious. So when these things are processed not only in our body, but in our mind, then you naturally move up the levels of consciousness. So what the experiences here is that people, for example, there was a woman who I worked with who was stuck around the level of the high 300s. And that area is related to, you're starting to forgive. And just beyond forgiveness is you start to lose your judgments of other people. That doesn't mean you haven't lost discernment. I can discern that, Liz has a blue shirt and Annette has a black shirt, if I could tell colors right. But it doesn't mean that, I can see behavior and say, oh, okay, that's inappropriate behavior in this particular situation, but I don't have a feeling that goes along with it. So when we process all of these different layers of mistrust, what happens is you naturally move up the scale. And that's what happened to this one particular woman. She says, I'm no longer trying to be a good person and not judge others. It's just that I don't see it. I no longer hold judgments just because it's natural. So, you know, a lot of religions out there, they're all preaching, you know, that non-attachment to the material possessions, or, you know, your anger or whatever. And you have to divest yourself and become a monk without any possessions. But they've got everything kind of backwards. And by that I mean that they're trying to emulate the behavior of somebody who has already reached into the 5 and 600s. And in those upper levels, those people are unattached to those things naturally. It's just like, no, it just doesn't matter to me anymore. So I wear the, you know, I don't really need anything, right? So my point is that the things drop away quite naturally when you change your mind. And Cognomovement and doing Cogno-conscious just helps you to do that. And you won't fight it anymore. It's not like I'm going to be stronger than this or stronger than that or be a good person. It's just I no longer feel that way. So that's what Cogno-consciousness is. And we have a seminar coming up in San Diego. It's next weekend, I think it's 26th, 27th. And so we got the 26th, 27th on that. And then we also have, I think, another one coming up in Fort Wayne, Indiana on Cogno consciousness. And that is, I think, December 7th, 8th. So those are our 2 Cogno conscious events. If you have a lot of people in your area that you think this might benefit from this, we would love to set up a seminar in your area as well. It's a 2-day deal, but it's very, very intense.
Hey, Bill, before we go, I just want to have everybody look at one more little piece here on this scale. Hold on, one more thing. Can I do it or not? Here it is. I just want you guys to look at this. There's one more piece that Bill didn't mention, and we're running out of time, so I want to share it with you. Imagine, too, that each of these levels here take 2%, 5%, 10% of your energy. What we're actually doing during the Cogno Conscious seminar, because you might say, well, I don't have any shame, I don't have any guilt, you know, but maybe you peed your pants when you were 5, and that little niche in your, you know, in your belt there takes 2% of your energy, and this one takes 5, and this one takes 10. What if you could have each of those pieces of energy back? And the premise is just that when you can release those, you release the energy back into your system, and it naturally buoys you up into these higher levels. So that's a big part of why people feel amazing after doing, you know, moving through the Cogno Conscious sessions and all the way through the top of this, is because you literally get your energy back. It's kind of incredible.
So one of the things I just talked about is that with this, you know, when this thing is released, what happens is it's like a hose, you know, a hose gets unkinked, and literally, physically, you can feel the energy go through your body. And it's not like you got to be special or, you know, like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm a really, you know, enlightened being or whatever. It's just something that physically happens where you get unkinked, and you'll feel a flood of heat. Typically, some people it's going to be cold, some people it's going to be heat, but you actually will feel it. One of the experiments I talked about is we're gonna do after the Cogno Conscious weekend at the very end, is we're gonna give people a little cup of orange juice. And the reason that I give them a little cup of orange juice is because when your energy gets so high and you've unblocked so much, you're literally, the electricity in your body is flowing so well that if you take a little drink of the orange juice, in certain cases. This is not for everybody, but it's just something some of you are going to get to experience. It depends if you're going to have enough of unblocking, but you'll actually feel like an electrical shock. It's like, you know how a static electricity, like you rub your feet on the carpet and then you go over and dink, and so it's very amazing because you drink it, it'll shock your lip. Anyway, another fun thing, you'll also get testing, you know, biowell testing obviously is always included, where you get you'll actually see the all of the information that this thing generates, which is your chakras and your aura and those sorts of things, and what happens.
You know, one of the things, Bill, that we want to make sure everybody knows before they go is that the biggest thing that we're hearing from people is that they just are a different person. It's like Annette said, I'm just a different person. I came one person, I left another person. With all of your energy available, you literally are someone else. I mean, think about all the things you can do in your life when you just have enough emotional, physical, and spiritual energy, have the drive to do it. It's amazing.
All right. Well, any last questions from anyone that I can help with? Anything? That was awesome, Brandy. Thank you so much for letting me work with your kid. Thank you for. Go ahead. Sorry.
I just wanted to say we need you here.
Awesome.
We need you in Florida, in Bonita Springs.
How do we do that?
I'd like to make it happen.
I've got availability. There's a short period of time here. Recently, I've left my regular position. So I have this short period of time here that I'm out doing as many seminars as I can till I start my next job. So if you want to put something together, now is the only time. I've got availability in December to do some seminars,
and so how many people would we need?
We shoot for an absolute minimum of 10 people.
Oh, that's easy.
So
Great. We'll see you in Florida in
merry.
December.
All right. Well, Liz, do you have an email? You want to hook up with Liz?
Yeah, just send me, or if you'll post your email here, please, I will get back with you.
How do I do that here?
Do you see the chat? In the chat, just put your email. And then, is it Jealous? Jealous wants to know if you can come to Australia, Bill.
Happy to come to Australia. We probably would need, in order to pull it off, we probably need on the order of about 20 people in order to facilitate an Australian one. But we are more than happy to do Australia. The exact same thing. If you could, if we can put it together for our availability in December, that would be ideal. Because it's going to be extraordinarily difficult for me to break away from my regular job after that point in time.
And Patrick had a question I answered in the chat, but just so that everybody knows, he wanted to know, what do you do if you don't know what the issue is? You can't put your finger on it. So how do you work with the ball? If you can't put your finger on the issue, what do we do in Cognomovement? Okay,
so there's two ways to go, right? If I don't know what it is number one is just to notice my body. So where do I feel this thing in my body? I don't know what it is, but I feel it in my heart, or I feel it in my gut. Put all of your attention on that feeling in your heart or your gut and do Cognomovement. So that would be probably the best advice I can give you, is to do it that way and feel it as much as you possibly can. And the other thing that is worthy of note is that when it gets on the run, to keep after it, meaning it'll move from the heart to the throat or the the sternum to the, you know, up and down. The practitioners are really, you know, got to a very high level of that understanding and to know the body and know how to help move it through the body. Okay.
Okay, I've got Brandy's email and Kimberly's email, and I've got Patrick's, Jaleth in Australia. Do you want to give us your email, and we'll reach out to you about coming to Australia.
For the person in Australia, we've started reaching out to people, you know, institutions that have kids on the spectrum and that sort of thing. So up at the Victoria area, I don't know if you're in that area or not, but anyway, we're very much interested in doing something.
And also, so I answered this to the guy in Australia, or person in Australia, I guess I don't know. It's Jenny, Jenny in Australia. We do have an online practitioner's class that comes with all the documents and all the videos, and we offer you a lot of support in doing that. It's a home self-study course that you do on your own at your own time. The requirement is you do 9 sessions, and you have an exit call with Bill to get your certification. And so that is another way to do it if you are unable to come to a practitioner class or you'd like to get it done quickly beforehand. So I put it's at cognomovement.com / online - classes.
There is, and I think I can speak for everybody here. There's, I think Annette put it well when she said there was just a whole world of difference of getting together and actually doing this versus the videos. I think it's a whole different experience. So hopefully we can put something together down there. We'll market and support anybody in any area to try to make it happen. And oh, by the way, I should tell everybody on the phone that the only reason I say December is because those are just weekends. You know, I try to schedule the seminars over weekends. I am totally willing, if we can do it during weekdays, I'm totally free during the weekdays right now, so I can make this happen.
Awesome.
Okay.
Okay, great. Well, everybody has my email address. Feel free to reach out to me directly, and I'll happy to support all of you in any way that I can. I'm very excited that you guys all showed up tonight, and we'll have some more of these as well. Okay.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you.
Thank you all.